Time to talk about Shazam! Fury of the Gods. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm giving you my review of Shazam 2, aka Shazam! Fury of the Gods. But before I do, be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts on this movie, your expectations if you have not yet seen it, and consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. It would mean a lot as I'm trying to hit my goal of 75,000 subscribers here on the channel. Without further ado, let's talk Shazam. So this movie was actually delayed a few times, and it's kind of been on the back burner for Warner Bros. And DC lately, but it finally hits theaters this Friday. I was able to see it early. This movie obviously follows the first Shazam, and the dynamic of the Shazam family has changed a little bit since the first movie. Everyone's starting to grow into their roles. Some people might be getting cocky, others looking to move on to the next phase of life. But as the Shazam fam goes about their daily life, saving the city, who shows up? The Daughters of Atlas, and they're here to raise hell on Philadelphia and the world. So that is the basic setup for this movie, and I'm here to say it was a solid time. I went in expecting it to be pretty much on par with the first movie, and that's exactly what it was. It's about a 2-hour, 11-minute long runtime. Never once was I dreading my time, checking, my watch, being like, oh, let's get out of here. It was a very entertaining movie, and that's exactly what I wanted it to be. Zachary Levi continues to have the charismatic screen presence as the lead character in this movie, and just like in the first movie, family is at the core here. They even make a pretty damn great joke about family. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But like I mentioned earlier, all of the Shazam fam kind of has their issues or things they're trying to work out personally, maybe trying to grow a little bit, but they all have this all or none mentality that sort of guides them throughout the movie. And seeing this family navigate their new roles as heroes in this movie made for a lot of humorous situations. In fact, this movie, I would say, is funnier than the first. The humor really works. There are obviously some jokes that miss for me, but all around there were pretty clever jokes. A lot of jokes that were actually referencing other pieces of pop culture and movies, which I was a big fan of. And throughout the whole movie, the theater was cracking up at times. I was smiling. I wasn't like belly laughing in this movie or anything, but it definitely had like the lighthearted family fun type of humor that was a hit. The Daughters of Atlas are played by Helen, Mirren, Lucy Liu, and Rachel Zegler, who is by far the scene stealer in this movie for me. She just has a really charismatic screen presence, and I cared about her character. She's put in a tough spot in this movie, and we see her struggle throughout this movie, like what is morally right versus what her family wants her to do, and it's a nice like antithesis to the Shazam fam. There were some pretty deep moments there, and I felt like her character is one of the easiest to connect with in this movie. Jack Dylan Grazer is the other standout here. He was fantastic in, the first Shazam. He's great in It Chapter 1, but in this movie he has even more to do, and the dynamic between Freddy and Billy is really expanded upon here, because Freddy wants to be in the spotlight here. He's trying to break free from his family, maybe do some things on his own that he shouldn't be doing, and him and Billy have a lot of heart-to-hearts throughout this movie, making for a really great relationship. I also appreciate how Fury of the Gods expands the lore of the Shazam universe, notably when they're in their lair. Like, there are so many cool little doorways that they walk through and Easter eggs, hints at what could be coming later in the movie or in the future of DC. There's just so much room to play around with the Shazam characters and the quests they could go on. Now, as fun as this movie is, it definitely follows a formula that we've seen before, the superhero formula that we all have kind of become accustomed to in a lot of big Marvel and DC movies over the years. Now, I pretty much expected that coming in. The marketing for this movie revealed significantly too much, which is not really like a condemnation of the movie itself, more so just Warner Bros. Putting out a little too much for their own good. I know, whatever they have to do to get butts in seats, but they really kind of showed the most of the movie, especially the third act, in the trailers, which was a little disappointing, but kind of come to expect it with movies like this nowadays. But yeah, this movie's not really gonna shock you in terms of, oh my gosh, did they really just do that? Like, it's nothing we haven't seen before. And that's not a bad thing, because I knew that going in. Shazam was gonna be a fun, entertaining time, and it delivered that. But again, it's fairly predictable. You kind of can put the pieces of this puzzle together pretty early in the movie. You can see that light at the end of the tunnel where this movie's headed through and through. The entire ride was a fun time. There was a nice little piece of escapism for 2 hours and 10 minutes of my life. Did not regret my time in the theater at all with this movie. Some of the humor hit, some of it didn't. Of course, there's those cheesy, campy moments just like in the first Shazam film. That is what this character is all about. Much like in the MCU, how Ant-Man is sort of the family man who's got his campy dad jokes at times. That's basically how I view Shazam in a different light for DC movies. Both of those know exactly what they are. They're self-aware, and Shazam! Fury of the Gods is exactly that. I enjoyed my time. I mean, it's not a movie that I'm raving about. I didn't adore it, but it's a solid, 3.5 out of 5 star movie, 3.25 maybe. There were moments where I was like, okay, this is predictable, and oh, I don't really feel the stakes here because this is just not about to happen. Dancing around spoilers, but if you've seen the movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But all that's to say, Shazam! Fury of the Gods was a fun time. It's got a stacked cast. The Atlas sisters just have such great chemistry as this villainous threat. There's a family story at its core that can pull on the heartstrings at times, and it's really sweet. And overall, it's just this charming, lighthearted, family fun adventure for DC, something that's lacking for DC a lot of times. So both Shazam 1 and 2 were like a breath of fresh air for DC, and the movie was just fun at the end of the day. But those are just my thoughts on Shazam! Fury of the Gods. It was a solid time. Definitely check it out if you're a fan of Shazam or DC or superhero movies in general. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts or expectations on this movie down below. Subscribe and hit that notification bell as I'm trying to hit my goal of 75,000 subscribers here on the channel. It'll mean the world. And of course, stay tuned for some more DC videos coming soon, notably a ranking of the DCEU movies, which I guess it's still the DCEU until Flash. We'll talk about that. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.